As my Carolina Panthers come out flat and uninspired for the second week in a row, we fall to 0-2 after losing to the Arizona Cardinals 27-22. And in this video, I'm going to do as I do after each and every game and provide you all with a few awards for some performances I saw put forth out there on the field this week for my Carolina Panthers. And we're going to get into all of that right after this.
I'm from the foe, you dig?
Welcome to The Way I See It with Jamario Rashad. This is a Carolina Panthers fan channel. Please do me a favor by hitting the like button, and please make sure you subscribe as I am on my road to 3K. Trying to make sure my channel continues to grow as this season plays out this year. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get to these awards. So winning his second consecutive and well-deserved "You Should Have Stayed Your Ass in the Locker Room" award, head coach Dave Pretty Ricky Canales. Canales continues to show his young coach deficiencies time over time, and it's beginning to be pretty much an insult to the functions of this team because the head coach is so timid, scared, and has such poor clock management skills. I know the first thing that is going to jump out to everybody, that should jump out to everybody that was watching this game, was the clock management issues at the end of the first half. He played scared and not trying to pick up a first down. He was timid and he got his ass punished for it. We gave up a good punt return. They went down, and unfortunately, we had shitty number 21 on the field who gave up the touchdown, as we all expected him to do. And there was a 17-point swing because our head coach was afraid to do the thing that we needed to do in order to win this game, and that is be aggressive. The team was unprepared for the 2-minute drive. They had no urgency. You had Anthony out there walking. Everything was just terrible, and this all falls down on the preparation, and that is always going to be the onus of the head coach. It is his problem. It is his responsibility to make sure that this Carolina Panthers team is prepared, not only, health-wise, but just prepared to play week to week. And it looks like the game plan that they go over is not seen to be effective whatsoever. He hasn't developed I tweeted something during this game, and then I swear to y'all, like 3 minutes later, it happened for the other team. We were in a 4th-and-1 situation, and I don't know if you've been watching, but I sure have. But since Bryce Young has been in the NFL, not once, never not once, zilch, nada, has there been a time that Bryce Young has took a QB sneak. Okay, fair. That's fair. Okay, he only 190-something pounds soaking wet. He a little dude. I get that. But why not throw Andy Dalton ass out there? Just take the snap and get the yard. Why not get creative and put a damn running back there to pick up 1 yard? Do a tush push. Pick up other things. It's a copycat league, as everybody likes to tell me. Why the hell are we the dumb cats? Why can't we just be the normal fucking copycats and copy something smart? So after choosing to punt in that situation, we then hold the Arizona Cardinals to a similar situation, to which then they take Kyler off the field, they put their backup quarterback in, and they do a damn QB sneak because that is a traditional play that every team in the NFL should be able to do. But Dave Canales is not creative enough to even see in those situations what to do, and it is starting to be just terrible. So for all of those reasons, I don't even have that much energy to sit up here and be angry like I did last week, because my expectations were no longer as high as they were entering the season. I am prepared to be disappointed week to week, but I'll be damned if I'm not going to call out the people that disappointed me. So for that reason, Dave Canales, you should have stayed your ass in the locker room, sir. Congratulations. Congrats, Dave. Congrats. Whatever. Moving on. This video is probably going to seem like deja vu to a lot of people because there's going to be a lot of repeated faces from last week on this list. And honestly, it's the first two from last week or the first two from this week. So you should already have a pretty good idea. I already alluded to him a little bit in my last segment about Dave Canales. But this second player is somebody who is getting under my skin so bad because of perceived expectations, me already assuming that he wasn't who I thought he was, but him going out there and completely showing his ass in a negative way is the reason why Anthony Leggett, you should have stayed your ass in the locker room, sir, through 2 NFL games, y'all. 2 complete NFL games. This man has 4 receptions for 8 yards. I'll repeat that. 4 receptions for 8 yards for a first-round starting sophomore wide receiver who has been absolutely fucking putrid ever since the preseason. Since the last notable thing that Anthony Leggett did was get his ass kicked out of a damn preseason game on the very first drive, and we ain't seen shit out of his raccoon-eating ass since. We have seen absolutely nothing from him. The one catch in this game, 1 catch on 8 targets for negative 2 yards. There is not a damn thing that he has been out there doing except for running fucking cardio, missing blocks, and being lazy. Anthony Leggett, Jalen Coker is somewhere smiling, knowing that he is going to lap you in terms of efficiency, yardage, targets, and everything in between because you continue to go out there and be so damn terrible. So for that reason, I understand that where you come from, y'all don't get the yips. You don't forget things, forget how to play, and get the yips. I know you got the yeehaws. I get that. So getting the yeehaws is not acceptable, Xavier Anthony Leggett. So for that reason, you should have stayed your ass in the locker room, sir. Congratulations. Negative 2 yards. Negative. So this last guy somewhere is going to cause me to have a brain aneurysm or something like that from the stress that he causes me, because I don't understand how somebody my age, born in the mid-90s, could still be getting opportunities to go out there and embarrass themselves on a professional field week after week after week. Nick Scott might be the worst football player I've ever seen in my entire life. I've said this on Twitter, and I will say it again here. Deion Sanders' toes are rolling over in they goddamn grave every time this trash-ass dude suits up and puts that 21 on his goddamn back. Nick Scott, you should have stayed your ass in the locker room. Everybody, and I mean everybody, understands that you are a complete liability every single time that you are out there on the field. Lathan Ransom gets in the game, shows out. Damani Richardson gets in the game, shows out. You get in the game, show that you are shitty. So why the fuck do you keep getting opportunities aside from Acero Bombero continuing to put your trash ass on the field? We had Panthers players, somebody as great here in the Carolinas that went to Carolina, played for the Panthers, in Trey Boston, alluding to just how trash you are because everybody can see it. What did Trey say? Y'all know who fault that TD was, right? Yep, y'all guessed it. It ain't hard. Bro, you are fucking trash, and now we have players that are close to the team, even doing current media jobs, calling your trash ass out. But for some reason, I don't know if you got a picture of somebody cheating on their wife. I don't know if it's somebody in that motherfucker you done helped avoid taxes. I don't know what you done did to get on the damn field. But what I do know that you should have did was stay your ass in the locker room, Nick Scott. Congratulations. I can't do it with this team. The decision making, everything. Everything's just terrible. We suck, bro. Like, we suck. Like, legit. So, moving on. Those were the three just completely. Them motherfuckers was terrible. Those were the people that needed to be highlighted for their overall assness. But there, again, as you learned in the last video, there are some people that were they just performed notable in their assness. They were not complete shit. They were just the ass. You know what I'm saying? It was not the outcome. It was just the creator. They were just the creator of the ass. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about notable assness or assable mentions, there are two people in particular that carry over from last week that just showed that they have little to no value or anything of the sort in their specific positions, and those players are none other than starting linebackers Christian Roseboom and Trevin Wallace. Christian Roseboom and Trevin Wallace, them boys are sorry. There's no other really way to say it. Them boys is ass. Each one of them, both of our starting inside linebackers, accounted for one unassisted tackle each. One unassisted tackle each for the guys that are supposed to be the second level to sure up against the run game, to be the ones that are playing the middle, cutting off all of the intermediate routes underneath. Both of these guys were able to account for one tackle that didn't involve the entire team tackling the ball on a gang tackle. These two guys are not only a liability in coverage, neither one of them are able to effectively blitz, neither one of them are effectively able to tackle when they get to the ball. Christian Roseboom got his ass thrown out the club and stiff-armed into oblivion by Marvin Harrison Jr. And then on a clear, unimpeded blitz to Kyler Murray, got his fucking ankles taken in the pocket, and Kyler scampered for about 30 yards because Christian Roseboom just simply can't do his goddamn job. Trevin Wallace continues to be trash in coverage. He continues to not know where he needs to be, nor who he needs to cover. It is just absolutely ass. The highlight of the game for both of these guys was when the clock struck zeros in the fourth quarter, because we were able to get these trash ass people off of the field. So I'm not going to spend too much more time on these guys because they didn't have to stay their asses in the locker room. They probably should have. Now that I'm thinking about it, they both probably should have. But they're just going to be assably mentioned in this video, man. So now that we got all of the negativity out of the way, even though there was a loss, there were some lights that shined. There were some guys that came through and actually showed their value in this game. And the first is somebody that I'm truly, truly proud of, because even though we are in a very unfavorable situation with our defense, we drafted this guy to come in, and in his second game, he's already producing what none of the other players that we drafted or spent damn near $100 million were able to do. So winning his very first baller award, Princely Uman Mielen getting the first and only sack of this game, and throughout 2 games in this 2025 NFL season, getting the first and only sack for the Carolina Panthers defense. Everybody was excited on draft night when we were able to take not only Nick Scorton in the second round, but when we spun the block back and picked another edge player with Princely Uman Mielen in the third. There were a lot of people that thought because of his notable skill set, whether it be his speed or just his ability to get to the quarterback, he was going to be somebody that flashed early as a rookie. Last week we saw him get less than 10 snaps. That only ticked up just a bit in this game, but we can see with the increased output or the increased snaps that he's allowed to be out there on the field, he is able to produce, although the numbers do not scream that he was out there being a terror. If you look at the tape, he was constantly beating the man. He was constantly beating either the left or the right tackle, and he was putting pressure on Kyler Murray, either forcing him to scramble or just forcing him into uncomfortable positions where he had to get the ball out of his hands a lot quicker than he wanted to. So the big eye in the sky does not lie. And Princely Umanmielen had an excellent game, and shout out to that boy for winning his very first baller award. Princely Umanmielen. Oh man, my sound trip in this video. Like big trip in this video. Oh my God. I am going crazy. Okay. We actually got two more. And the last name is the one that y'all been waiting to hear what I'm going to say about him, and we'll get there. But before we get to you know who, there's somebody that stood out over everybody in this game, similar to Princely Umanmielen, it only being his second game in the NFL strapping up the cleats for the Carolina Panthers, but he went out there and absolutely balled. So winning his second consecutive baller award, Tetaroa T-Mac McMillan. In only his second game in the NFL, T-Mac was able to reach that 100-yard threshold in the city that he has spent majority of his adult life in, playing for the Arizona Wildcats, showing out for the local contingency that came out to the game just to see their guy play. He disappointed in no way, shape, or form. 6 catches to the tune of 100 yards, and there could have been much more if Bryce Young could have just been able to force feed him the ball a little bit more. But as the game progressed, you saw those safeties starting to play over. You saw those double teams starting to happen, and you saw the Arizona Cardinals start to say, we're not going to let this rookie beat us. Respect to them. That's them tipping their cap to you. That only shows how cold that my boy is. But T-Mac continues to be an absolute baller. So everybody saw that play on the sideline that didn't count, that one-handed catch. I am going to make a parallel between T-Mac, Tetaroa McMillan's catches on the sideline that don't count, and just how spectacular they are to the highlight reel in the NBA of Ja Morant missed dunks. These damn plays are just as exciting as if he would have been in bounds. It's just as exciting as if Ja would have dunked on somebody. The sheer audacity to actually attempt the things that they are attempting and actually, like in a professional game, and show that you are actually able to do them, shows a dog mentality in them, and specifically in T-Mac, that is something that we have not seen in a very long time. I'm talking about completely trucking DBs on the sideline, standing over them and laughing. Those are things that we have not had in a wide receiver or a pass catcher for that reason since we've had Greg Olsen here, somebody who was undoubtedly just a monster and one of the best at his position. So through 2 games, Tetaroa McMillan is currently averaging 84 yards per game. So if you stretch that, if you put that out over a full season, he is on pace for over 1,400 yards as a rookie, which would undoubtedly be one of the best seasons a Carolina Panthers player has ever had, and the undisputed best rookie season a Carolina Panthers wide receiver has ever had. So for the reason of him being on pace to possibly be the best thing since sliced bread that the Carolina Panthers have drafted, Tetaroa McMillan gets the Week 2 Baller Award. Shout out to T-Mac. I ain't got my soundboard on this slide, so I'm going to just clap it up for my boy. Shout out to T-Mac. Shout out to T-Mac, man. So finally, the most decisive, not decisive, he was a bit indecisive sometimes, but the most divisive player in this game that I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a lot of comments about because where I choose to place him in this video. But I'm going to have to say, hear me out or don't matter, my video, my list. Winning his very first Baller Award of the season, QB1 Bryce Young. I don't give a damn what y'all say. I don't give a damn what y'all talking about. Y'all are gonna hyper focus on the first 5 minutes of this game, which honestly is fair. Bryce Young is the quarterback. He gets all the credit when we win. He should deserve the majority of the praise or the blame when we lose. But if you are going to blame Bryce Young for other big-ass grown men not being able to block for him, I don't think you know how football works. Those 2 turnovers early in the game, although they looked catastrophic, they were untimely as shit, and it looked like it was in the hands of Bryce Young. Those things were not solely on him. So he is not completely without blame, but he is with minimal blame in my opinion. So we're not going to focus on how this game started. Rather, we are going to focus on how QB1 was able to bounce back for the remaining 3 quarters, stay resilient, and show that he is not somebody that is going to tuck his head, go into a rut, and just hide, which is what we saw in over these last 2 seasons. We saw when things weren't going his way, when he was actually benched last season, when he isn't able to actually honestly almost front run from just completely balling and never making any mistakes. Bryce Young in the past would go into a place where he would shrink down, he would lose confidence. In this game here in particular, Bryce Young did absolutely none of that. He was not held down, or he was not held back mentally at all by the mistakes that he made early in this game, and he went on to have what is, in my opinion, the second best game of his entire career. 35 of 55 to the tune of 328 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. As I said, I know a lot of people are going to focus on those turnovers, but we need to, in my opinion, focus on what he was able to do, overcoming the inefficiencies of his head coach, putting him in a terrible position, allowing the other team to get cheap and almost free points to go up, to have to put him in position where he can no longer take advantage of the run game. You take the best weapon outside of Tedderall McMillan out of the game when you can't run with Chuba Hubbard. That is a coaching decision that put us down in a 17-point swing before halftime. That's not on Bryce Young, but we saw Bryce go through that, continue to fight. We saw Hunter Renfrow have a bounce back game, even though he continues with drops and almost acts like he gets shot in the back every single time the ball is thrown to him, because for some strange reason he can't just stay on his damn feet. But through all of those things, we've seen Bryce Young continue to stay resilient. We've seen him continue to make plays, and his offensive line continued to not be able to hold up and fall apart in key moments for him. And unfortunately, we weren't able to come through in this game. But in my opinion, that is not on Bryce Young. Bryce Young is the main reason why we were able to be as close as we were. So for that reason, and for the reason that I'm starting to lose my voice and I need to get out of here, Bryce Young gets a Week 2 Baller Award. Shout out to BY, man. But those are the awards for this week. I apologize for being a little bit tardy. I've had a lot of life things going on over these last couple of days, so I'm trying to get these out as quickly as possible, man. But what do you all think about this video, about the awards? Do you think there was other people that may have been a little bit more deserving? Do you think that there was somebody that I completely overlooked? Did other people deserve some love? Whatever you all think, leave your comments down in the comment section. I'll be sure to get back to you then. But until next time, I am Jamario Rashad. This is the way I see it, and I'm out. Peace.